Big Blue Nation, I just took the first pick for the Giants in the epic mock 25 that I have been blessed to be able to represent the Giants in. I did not take Abdul Carter. I did not take Travis Hunter. In fact, I didn't take Shadur Sanders. I didn't even take any player at the number 3 pick. I'm going to tell you why. I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a giant issue. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a live edition of A Giant Issue. I am Coach Gene Clemons. New York Giants on SI. That's where you get all of your New York Giants news and information. Make sure you go over there, check out everything we have going on over there right now. My best day 3 picks of the last 20 years just dropped. So go check that out over there. Check out my good, great, uglies, all of that kind of stuff. You know how it goes. I was approached by draft professors to be a part of their epic mock 2025, which is 32 creators around different team platforms have an opportunity to come together and draft as GMs in a 3-day event, trades and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, this sounds like it's fun. And in anything to really try to kind of bring people together where it's not always like some type of rivalry. So I was definitely about it, wanted to do it. And at first, when I approached it in my mind, I was like, and if you guys know anything about me when I do mock drafts, I don't normally do trades because I feel like a trade is a cop-out when it comes to how you're able to like manipulate a trade to be great for you with nobody on the other side. However, this was different because there are people on the other side. There's 31 other GMs. And so I got approached about some moving up and me wanting to move down. And I was all set and ready to stay at number 3. This morning, I got an offer to move up to to move down to number 5. And I was interested in moving down if things didn't play out the way that I wanted. And so one of the offers that I received was for the 88th pick. So I'd move down 2 picks and I'd also pick up the 88th pick, which is, if you don't know, anything inside of 100 is a premium pick. Because if you're getting a chance to draft one of the top 100 players in the draft, you're getting an opportunity to draft the starter, right? So I was really excited about the prospects of that if it didn't fall the way that I thought it should fall. So what happened? Here's what happened. With the first pick, the Titans took Cam Ward. And with the second pick, the Browns took Shadur Sanders. So now I was sitting there at 3 with the choice to take Abdul Carter or take Travis Hunter. And I had to sit back in a short amount of time because I had thought about this, right? If Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter's there, am I just pulling the trigger on which one am I pulling the trigger on? Well, here's where the problem lied for me at, right? And salute to Iman Perry, my guy. Here's where the problem was for me. When I thought about how I wanted to proceed, I said there's questions on both of these guys. I'm going to start with Travis Hunter, who I do believe is a generational talent. He's a generational talent that people are going to argue about where he should be on the field, including my coaching staff, including my offensive and defensive coaches. My offensive coaches will probably lobby for him to be a wide receiver. My defensive coaches will probably lobby for him to be a defensive back. He will want to do both. He will want to do both. I felt like somebody was going to be upset, right? I felt like somebody was going to be upset. Camaraderie-wise, I was wondering if we would ever get the maximum amount out of him by just allowing him to play one side of the ball, because we know that's not where his passion lies. I wondered if we started playing him on both sides of the ball, if he started having success on one side over the other, if we would start leaning him more one way and not developing him on the other. It was just a lot of question marks that I had to decide on. And so ultimately I said, I'm passing on Travis Hunter. But I didn't want to take Abdul Carter. If you guys haven't listened to me, this is really easy for me. I don't believe Abdul Carter's a generational talent. I believe that the New York Giants already have 2 Abdul Carters. Oh my gosh, Kayvon Thibodeau isn't nowhere near Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter reached double-digit sacks his junior year, right? That's the only year he reached double-digit sacks. And he did it in 16 games. He did it in 16 games. Kayvon Thibodeau had, I believe, 9 or 8 sacks. Was in 16 games. Might not even have been 13 games. It might have been 12 games. I could be wrong. It could be 13. But I think it was 12. Maybe even less. What's my point? That's not generational. His previous seasons, right? Total 10, 11 sacks total. Both seasons together. Remember, you're getting Abdul Carter because of the sacks, because you think he's going to be able to do what Parsons did, right? What Michael Parsons did. But there's no guarantee about that. And what also makes it a harder to guarantee is the fact that he's not healthy right now. And I really got cringed out today when the report came out that his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, who's never been known to lie, right? His agent came out and said, oh, well, the doctors have said that everything is going well with his injury and that he won't need surgery and that everything is healing the way it's supposed to heal. And yet, every time I hear that, right? Every time I hear somebody say, hey, this didn't need surgery, it's going to heal on its own, it always ends up needing surgery. It's weird. Every time someone says, hey, this doesn't need surgery, there's always a certain point where it needs surgery. So now I've got to decide, is this guy even better than the 2 guys, or is this guy going to be better than the 2 guys that we already have, that we've spent money on? I don't know. Is this guy going to be healthy? I don't know. But let's say I knew all of that. Let's say he's going to be better. Let's say that he is going to be healthy. Everybody keeps acting as if, oh, if you get Abdul Carter, then you create an identity for this defense. But you don't. Because you can't play Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns at the same time on the defensive line. The moment someone sees it, they're just going to run the ball down your throat. Because neither of those 3 are real legitimate defensive ends. They're all edge rushers. And even though Abdul Carter might be able to stand up and blitz, right? Even though Abdul Carter may be able to stand up and blitz, he's going to stand up and blitz and come through lanes where people see him coming. Even if he makes it through the first, right? Even if he makes it through the first level with the offensive linemen who don't pick him up, the running back is going to pick him up. Even if the running back doesn't pick him up, that's because he's probably going to get thrown hot right off of where he just vacated. It's not the best use of his talents. And if we're being honest, you already have that. Bobby Okereke was able to get sacks 2 years ago, right? When you would blitz him. But blitzing from that, but blitzing from that level, that's not really something that's in the Shane Bowen tree. He doesn't do that much. So, like, when I think about whether or not I wanted to spend the number 3 pick on on a guy like that, I was just like, nah, I don't really think I do. So then it became really easy for me to go, hey, let's trade down, get another premium pick this year and a premium pick next year. Oh, well, Coach Clemons, why didn't you get more? Because you've got to be offered more. And if it's not going to affect me to move down, because I already know what it is I'm going to do instead of taking those 2, if I can trade down 2 spots and still get that dude, then that's what I'm going to do. Because that's how you build. It's not, oh, best player available. Nope. It's getting so many picks, having so many opportunities to bite at the apple that at some point something's going to be sweet. That's really what it comes down to. And Iman talking about, those guys being able to blitz better and having success in Wink Martindale's system. And like I said, that's not Shane Bowen's system. And people are right. McFadden, not a bad blitzer as well. He has really good anticipation skills. So I agree. But that left me with the decision to trade down. So I traded down from 3 to 5 in the epic mock 25. And when I did, I traded to the Jaguars. They immediately took Travis Hunter, which I knew they would. And then the next team, the New England Patriots, took Abdul Carter, even though they should not have taken Abdul Carter. The New England Patriots aren't losing games because they don't have an edge rusher. They're losing games because they need better linemen in front of their quarterback. They need wide receivers, right? They need pass catchers. It was a perfect opportunity for them to do what I just did at number 5, which is I took Tyler Warren. And believe it or not, right? Believe it or not, I actually considered taking Ashton Jeanty at 5. When I moved down to 5, I said, here is a place where I would 100% be justified if I took Ashton Jeanty at 5. But then I thought about it, and I said, hey, at Penn State, they use a 2 tight end system. They use a lot of 12 personnel. Who was the 12 personnel that they had so much success with? Right? Well, we already have one of them on the team. And now we get to add the second one. Who's the better of the 2? Tyler Warren gives you the opportunity to get a guy with better hands than Johnson has, right? Better hands, more athletic, more explosive, knows how to be the focal point, knows how to be a secondary option. He can block in line, right? Best inline blocking tight end in the draft, most likely. Maybe number 2 if you're just talking about like just a standalone blocking. But he's a better inline blocker than Brock Bowers ever will be. Brock Bowers wants no part of blocking, yet he gives you very similar athleticism as Brock Bowers, a former quarterback, so you know he understands the game. And here's the added bonus. Now you get an opportunity to put somebody in to run a tush push. Now you get the opportunity to put a guy in to be a short yardage touchdown maven, right? He can be it from the quarterback position because because he understands how to operate as a quarterback. So you can guarantee that somebody's going to put a package in for him at quarterback so that he can run that short run system. This, to me, is a smart move because with the added 88th pick, it gives me 4 premium picks. Right? And if I'm going to have 4 premium picks, now there's a lot more maneuvering I can do. I can look to move down and pick up more premium picks. I can look to move up, consolidate, and get higher premium picks. But on day 2, it allows me to be more dynamic with what I have. So for me, I looked at the opportunity to add a guy like Tyler Warren because I looked at him as being extremely draft safe, right? I think that he's going to be safe. Even if he's not a superstar, he's still going to be a good starting tight end in this league. And to me, that matters. I know everybody wants to pick and have every pick be a slam dunk, right? That's why they're mad at Thibodeau. That's why they're mad at Kayvon Thibodeau. That's why they're mad at Evan Neal, because they're not performing at such a high level that it makes people go, oh, this was a no-brainer, right? This was a really, really great pick. But if Kayvon Thibodeau, right, if he has 21 sacks in 3 seasons and he's still only 23 years old, that's not a good pick. You ready to throw him away? If Evan Neal has shown you flashes of how good he is as a run defender, right? If he's shown you flashes of how good he is as a run defender, then run blocker, excuse me, then a move inside seems reasonable. Why throw him away at 23 years old? JT Savoy brings up a good point, right? Graham could be an option as well. Dex is getting wrecked with no one on the sidecar with him. Here's my thought process. Here's why I didn't go Graham, because I thought about Graham. Because I really and truly believe that this is a very deep defensive tackle class. And I am going to get a defensive tackle on day 2. And by the way that the draft is unfolding, and please go in and just type into your YouTube or your Twitter Epic Mock 25, and you'll see all of the information from it. But the way that things are going, right? I'm going to get a premium defensive tackle in the 2nd or 3rd round. I know it. And that's what's so exciting about it for me, is that I understand where I'm at right now. So for me, round 2, I've got the 34th pick. I have 3 round 3 picks. I've got the 65th pick, the 88th pick, and the 99th pick. Then I have the 105th pick in the 4th round. That's darn near a 3rd round pick. I could easily package a couple of those things and move up for another 2nd round pick and still leave myself a 3rd round pick. So I look at the maneuverability that I have on day 2. I could move down from 34, because 34 is essentially a 1st round pick, right? It's 2 after the 32. It's essentially a 1st round pick. I could give up that 34th pick, pick up a 2nd rounder, another 3rd rounder, and probably a deeper rounder. Well, Coach Gene, why are you getting all these rookies? Because the Giants need talent, not just to be starters now, but they need talent to be backups that are at starter level. The problem that the Giants have had is that all of the backups that they have, right? All of the backups that they have right now or they've had are not starting level backups. They're backup level backups. And as much as I like the moves that the Giants have made this offseason, they've got two free agent tackles that they signed, right? Neither one of them are starting caliber. Neither one of them are ever going to start more than 1 or 2 games, a few games in a row because of injury. That's not who I want backing up the starter. I want somebody that in 3 years or in 2 years or in 1 more year, when my tackles contracts are up, I have to make a real decision. Do I want to pay these dudes or do I let them go because I've got a starter behind him waiting? Or that I can then use as a bargaining tool because they're such a good backup that they could start somewhere else and now I can get draft capital for them and kick the can down the road. You see what I'm saying there? When Andrew Thomas gets hurt, I want a starter coming in. I want a starter. So I want more depth. When I pick up a defensive tackle, I want a defensive tackle that's going to be a starter to go with all of those defensive linemen who are tweener end 3 techniques, right? I want to create more depth, but more depth with high-end talent. That's where the Giants have been missing at. They've been putting Band-Aids on the backups. They've been putting Band-Aids on the backups, and they haven't been creating competition between starting caliber players by putting other starting caliber players behind them. And I think that once they do that, which is what I plan to do in this epic mock, once they do that, you're going to see a lot of the tide turn, a lot of things change. So yeah, I am legit. And don't think I'm not looking at a quarterback in that second or third round. I'm going to watch how things play out because I do believe there's talent in this draft. And adding a tight end who is one of the best, right? Because people argue best player available. I could argue Tyler Warren, one of the best players available, at one of the 2 best players available at the time when I picked at 5. You could argue Mason Graham. You could argue Ashton Genty. You can argue Tyler Warren. I chose the tight end because now I get to put those 2 tight ends who know each other back in there, right? So that's what I did. And JT, I'm glad that you agree. Because now I put 2 young tight ends who are athletic, who are long, who understand how to play with each other, but one of them is an absolute for sure stud, and the other one has the potential to be a really, really good number 2. Right? And now we got motion, we got action. So that's where I am. I'm looking forward to the second round. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. If I have my druthers, I'm going to come away in day 2 with 5 picks. But if I come away in day 2 and I don't have 5 picks, then you know that the 4 picks that I picked I just felt like at the time was good. Or if I come away with 3 picks, 2 of them are going to be for sure premium picks, and I'm looking to really shake things up. Because that's what's fun about mocks. Like, this is when it gets fun, when it's interactive. And I can tell you, I am not drafting the way in which this regime with draft. I am drafting as if I am the regime. I don't have time to try to mimic or match what they're going to do because I don't agree with what they're doing. Not all the time. So I'm going in with my thought process. That's what I do when I do a mock draft. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys understand why I went with Tyler Warren, why I decided not to take Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. If you're just joining because we're live, if you're just joining, go back and check it out. I'll be back tomorrow because I'll be back to talk about, what we did in day 2. It's been fun. Until next time, right? Make sure that you go to New York Giants on SI. Get all of your New York Giants news and information from there. Check out my day 3, my best day 3 draft picks over the last 20 years for the New York Giants. Come over here. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. We need you. I need you. Keep on patronizing. And then we'll get to the point on some of these lives where, y'all start dropping some super chats on your boy out here because it is a lot. And we like to try to, make the money, right? But I really am looking for that to be done through you paying the bills by getting more people to subscribe, coming and hanging out, listening to what we do. Like Bit Moo says, tell a friend to tell a friend, right? Tell a friend to tell a friend, and shout out to the Bit Moo. JT, I appreciate it. My goal is 5,000 before we get to game 1. But if you want to get us to 10,000 before then, I'm good with that as well. Until next time, I'm Coach Gene Clemons, and I have a giant issue.